Good evening, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So tonight I'm going to be making a very impromptu quick video for you talking about a few of my favorite samples that I just received from Bond Number 9 New York. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I had just ordered a sample pack of 18 fragrances, and there are 5 that I really liked and wanted to share with you. So that's what today's video is on. And if this is your first time here, hello and thank you so much for clicking on my thumbnail. My name is Alithia, and on this channel we talk mostly about fragrance. So if that is your thing, head on down and hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is where I keep all of my samples and fragrances that I'm sort of toying with. If I get any new samples and decants and I just kind of want to play around with them before I make a decision, I put them in here. And it really has been very helpful for me to do that, especially being somebody who likes to blind buy, because then at night before I go to bed or during the day, I can come pick out a fragrance, put it on, and I can experience it a few times in a row before I make my decision. So this is where I have put my Bond 9 fragrances, and I'm going to dig them out and show you what my top 5 from my sample pack were. Okay, so first of all, there was 18. A lot of the men's ones were really good, and out of the women's ones, these are the ones that I really liked. So we have Bond 9, The Scent of Peace. This is one that a lot of people had recommended to me. We also have Tribeca, another one that had been highly recommended. We also have Greenwich Village, another quite popular one. We also have Saks Fifth Avenue for her. And the last one that we have is the Bond Number 9 perfume. So I will start off with, I think, probably my least favorite, work my way to my most favorite. So by the way, you guys, I don't have the notes memorized, so I will be going and putting them on the screen for you, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what I get from the perfume. This is very much a first impression. I have had a chance to wear about 4 of these, but it's still very much a first impression. So this one here is Bond Number 9 perfume, and what I get from this one is quite a fresh, soapy, clean, I shouldn't really say fresh. It's a very soapy, clean, I think floral fragrance. It definitely smells feminine. I'm not sure if this is marketed toward men or women. I have a feeling it's a feminine one. I haven't actually looked up the notes on this one. It smells very sophisticated. It smells very rich and ritzy. It smells like something a lawyer would wear who worked in New York. That's the opinion that I get from it. It definitely gives me sort of a rich, wealthy air about it, and I don't really know if it's my taste. It also smells very mature. Yeah, kind of a mature, soapy, floral fragrance is what I think it is. I could be a little bit off. I haven't looked at the notes, but that is what I get, at least on paper. This one I did not spray on my skin yet, and I don't know if I will because I don't think it's really my taste. But out of all the women's ones, I did prefer this one over Nolita. I also preferred this one over the Spring Fling, which was also in the package. Yeah, so yeah, this one is okay. Not my taste, but I figured I'd keep it in here anyway so I could come back to it and refer to it in a few weeks if I want to. So the second one is Scent of Peace, and this one, a lot of people have said that this is probably the safest blind buy, and I think that they're right. I don't think anybody would dislike this one. Maybe not everybody would love it, but I don't think anybody would truly dislike it. It's very difficult to dislike, and to be honest, it smells pretty much exactly like what you would think it would smell like if you look at the notes online. I don't know all the notes off the top of my head, but I believe that this is a very light, musky floral with a little bit of citrus. I think there's a little bit of a powdery, I want to say that there might be violet or something, but it's just a very soft, I think feminine, as the name would imply, very like peaceful smelling perfume. It's just a pleasant grab and go everyday perfume for women, and actually this would be a very safe purchase. Like if you like those kind of really easy grab and go musky everyday fragrances, I think that this would be a pretty safe blind buy. I don't know if I really need it myself because I have a lot of other like citrusy, woody, fresh, musky fragrances, green, in my collection already, so I don't know that I would invest the price point for this. But that being said, it's gorgeous. It is really nice, and I think I will try experimenting with it a little bit, especially before bed, and just kind of see how I like it. But it is a lovely fragrance. The bottle's beautiful, and I know a lot of people really like it. So this is one that is often recommended to me, and I do like it. So that is your scent of peace. The next one is the Saks Fifth Avenue For Her. When I smelt this one, my eyes really went open, like wide open, because it just kind of hit me. It was very strong, very sweet, very white floral. This has a heavy dose of tuberose in it. Like you can tell right off the hop when you spray this, it is a heavy white tuberose. It's also very creamy and very kind of vanillic / whipped creamy. It really reminds me a lot of Amouage Love Tuberose, which I used to have. I did let that one go because I have discovered about myself that I cannot wear a lot of white or a lot of tuberose. If it's too strong, too bubblegummy, too tuberose, it's too much for me. I love the way it smells, but I can't wear it. So this is one of those ones. It definitely has a very sophisticated, ritzy, white floral smell. Like picture a woman who's very well-to-do and she really dresses well and has her life together, and she wears a white floral perfume. That's what this is. And she's shopping on, you know, Fifth Ave in New York. It's that's really what it is. It just struck me as like very, very posh. So if I liked white florals, I would really consider this one. It's beautiful. If you like white florals, if you like Love Tuberose from Amouage, if you like or liked Madonna's Truth or Dare, which also was a very powerful white floral fragrance I can remember. This is like along those lines, and it's really beautiful, just not quite for me. So that was my third one. So now we come to the last two, and I'm going to show them to you together because these are the ones that I'm really kind of stuck on. This is Greenwich Village and Tribeca. I will discuss them both individually in a second, but these were my two favorite. I also saved them for last when I was sniffing my perfumes because these two were frequently talked about. I've seen Greenwich Village featured in a few people's videos. I think the person who comes to mind is Erin Nicole. She's probably the first person or the most recent person who I saw talk about Greenwich Village, and I have to say she really piqued my interest about this perfume. So yeah, I was dying to get my hands on it, and now let me tell you what my thoughts are about them. So let's start off with Tribeca. So this one I actually really, really like. It comes in the absolutely gorgeous white star bottle, and this one, when I first sprayed it, I hadn't looked at any of the notes because I wanted to have a very unbiased opinion of these fragrances and experience, and I didn't want to have any preconceived notions. So I didn't ask for anyone's opinion on them. I didn't ask for any reviews. Anything I saw had kind of been just like through watching certain videos, and they just happened to be there. But I really didn't want to know what the notes were. I wanted to see like what came to mind. And when I first sprayed this one, the very first thing it reminded me of right off the hop was Baccarat Rouge. And a lot of people do compare actually both this and the Greenwich Village to Baccarat Rouge. So this in the opening has a very strong Baccarat Rouge vibe. Very, very strong. It's not exactly the same, but it does have a very, very strong similarity. However, in about the mid to the dry down, it starts to go in a very different direction. So this is very sweet to me. Very sweet, very, very luxe, very expensive smelling, very bougie smelling. I really, really like this, you guys. Like when I smelled this, I was like, oh my gosh, I understand why people love this so much. I understand why people have recommended it to me. It was beautiful. So I thought that this must have had saffron or something in it. I detected like a subtle bit of a spiciness, but I couldn't really tell what it was. And actually when I looked at the notes, I could see that there is ambroxan, I believe, in this, which I think is why it smells kind of so similar to Baccarat Rouge. So they do have some similar notes, and there is a certain type of nut. I think it might be hazelnut, and there's also cacao in here, and there's also some woody notes. I think there's also maybe cedar. This essentially is like a more kind of a gourmandy, chocolatey, nutty, woody version of Baccarat Rouge, if you want to look at it that way. It's a very like sophisticated, sweet, creamy, earthy, like chocolatey, nutty. It's delicious. It's beautiful. It's very hard to explain. Very hard to explain. At first, when I smelt it, I did think it was very feminine, but I do think that once it dries down, it does become a little bit more masculine. And this one definitely has better lasting power than the Greenwich Village. This one seems to stay on my skin for a lot longer, and it has a pretty good presence. It's quite strong. You don't need very much of it. And it does start to have a little bit more of a masculine vibe toward the dry down, but I love it. It's beautiful. And The opening for me is so magical. The opening for this is just so magical. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about Greenwich Village, and then I'll tell you like my thoughts and where I'm at with these perfumes. Okay, so let's talk about Greenwich Village now. So this one is, unfortunately, I just filmed talking about it and then somehow it didn't work. So I have to refilm everything I just said. So Greenwich Village comes in the absolutely gorgeous green bottle. I love the look of that bottle as well. I love that area of New York. I love everything about this fragrance. I love the idea behind it. I like what it represents, and I think it's a very posh, classy, sophisticated perfume. So again, this is one that when you spray it, it does have also a very strong similarity to Baccarat Rouge. It doesn't smell exactly like it, but it has a very strong similarity. I would say that between the two, the Tribeca is definitely more close to the Baccarat Rouge in terms of the scent. And the only reason I'm even comparing it, you guys, is because of two reasons. Number one, it gives me a reference point to help you understand what it smells like. Number two, because if you go look at the notes and Fragrantica and reviews, which I know you will, if you're interested in this perfume, you're going to see a lot of people compare it to Baccarat Rouge. So that's why I'm telling you, because that way I can kind of tell you my take on it and how close I think it really is. And in no way are these dupes for Baccarat Rouge, so just keep that in mind. If you were kind of on the fence between this one, Tribeca, and you also maybe have Baccarat Rouge and you don't want to be repetitive, I don't think you're at risk of being repetitive. They are their own fragrances. So this one is a fruity floral, and then it has a twist of a gourmand quality, and it's actually quite a complex fragrance. It's glistening, it's sophisticated, it's bright, it's sparkling, it's posh, it's expensive smelling. When you first spray it, I do get that Baccarat Rouge kind of memory or vibe that the Tribeca also gave me, but not quite as strong as the Tribeca. So when you first spray this, you do kind of see where there's a similarity, but this is definitely its own fragrance. This is a lot sweeter than Baccarat Rouge. This is a lot more floral. This has fruit in it, which Baccarat Rouge does not have fruity notes, so they are quite different fragrances. And as this starts to change on your skin, it does kind of go down a little bit more of a gourmand path. I think there is also ambroxan in this one. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a very interesting, complex fragrance, and it's very feminine. A lot of people say that this one is quite unisex. I think this one is definitely more feminine, whereas the Tribeca is a little bit more masculine, in my opinion, compared to this one. I love this perfume, you guys. This one smells, like I say, so expensive and so posh and so upscale, and it just smells like something you would put on when you really wanted to smell put together. Kind of the same thing as the day that you wear Baccarat Rouge, unless you wear it all the time. For me, that one is definitely more of a I feel put together today perfume, and that's what this is. It doesn't have quite as good lasting power as the Tribeca. This one I found became a lot lighter, a lot quicker, but this one is a fruity floral for the most part compared to the Tribeca, which is more of a woody gourmand. Again, I wasn't going like full-on crazy sprays. It's difficult to test and get like a full good wear out of these tiny little bottles because they have very small nozzles and you don't want to use, the whole thing in one day trying to test it. So I do feel like I haven't gotten quite like the best wear out of these ones yet. But all in all, you guys, this is just a really beautiful fragrance, and I can totally see where the hype comes from, and I totally see why a lot of people like this one and have this one in their collection. So now let me tell you a little bit about where my mind is at with these perfumes. So the Saks Fifth Avenue, where is that one? This one. This one, I only kept it out so I could discuss it with you guys, but I definitely will not be getting a bottle of this one because it's a very strong white floral and it just doesn't suit my taste. So I am going to pass this along to somebody who wants to try it out. The Scent of Peace, I'm actually going to keep this one and toy around with it a little bit. I did find it very pleasant, and I think it's one that I might like the more I wear it, so I'm going to hold on to this one and try it out a little bit. Really nice. I think, again, pretty safe blind buy if you're interested in a light everyday perfume. The number 9 perfume I haven't had a chance to wear on my skin yet. Again, I'm keeping it out because I think I might just see how it is. I don't think I would ever purchase this one because it's really not my taste. It's a very bold, mature, almost vintagey type of perfume, but it is nice, so I'm gonna keep it out for now. And where I am really unsure is the Tribeca and the Greenwich Village. So these are the two that I'm kind kind of toying with. And I'm not ready to make a decision or pull the trigger. I do really want a Bond 9 fragrance in my collection, and I'm not ready to pull the trigger because they're quite expensive. If I was to buy a bottle of these, they would be the most expensive perfume purchase to date, like easily my most expensive perfume purchase to date. They retail for $405 US, which is about 530 Canadian-ish. So I mean, it's quite a pretty penny, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right one for me. I know there's a few other Bond fragrances I have not smelled, but I have to tell you, I really like both of these ones. I think they both smell very classy, very sophisticated, very expensive. Both of them are fairly feminine. I think I could pull off either of them for sure. They're both kind of sexy too. I think that the Tribeca is probably a little more sexy. It's definitely a little bit more sweet nighttime, kind of seductive, sexy, where the the Greenwich is a little bit more like fresh, floral, daytime. But both of them smell so posh and so bougie and so beautiful, and I honestly could see myself having either or of these in my collection. So currently I have the Greenwich Village sitting in my cart. I just haven't pulled the trigger because every time I come back and smell my arm, I notice something about the perfumes that I hadn't noticed last time. So anyway, really happy to have both of them. I'm going to continue playing with them. If you have any suggestions for me, or if you have any experiences or whatever, some insight to offer me about these perfumes, I would be very appreciative. Yeah, I'm just honestly, I can't wait to get one of those bottles in my collection. I just really need to decide which one, and I don't want to be like hasty with it. So that is my thoughts on the Bond 9 perfumes. So that was it for our video today, you guys. I hope that you really enjoyed. Please feel free to head on over and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye for now.